Welcome everyone, it's Yvonne Davis and David Steele here to continue our discussion of The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. We're in week 1, day 2, and today we're talking about the artist child. So I wanted to actually share with you a quote by Julia Cameron in the book. She says, "Remember, your artist is a child." And when I first read that, it made total sense to me because as tarot astrologer, these are natural connections, natural associations. So for example, in astrology, the child is ruled by the 5th house. The 5th house, whose planetary rulership is the sun, it rules children, creativity, play, fun, games, recreation, relaxation, entertainment. So all of these things go together in the 5th house.
How can you rule creativity?
David, he always has to throw a little wrench into my system.
I'm innocent.
So anyway, and then in the tarot, it's the Sun card. And as you can see there, we have 2 children, and they're standing under the bright sunshine with its radiant light. One is on the earth and one is in the water. And this is a concept of alchemy. By the way, this deck that I'm showing you right now, this card is the Golden Dawn deck. So I just want to give credit for that, Golden Dawn. And you can also see the white flowers. And you can also see, whether or not this is intended, you can see the shape of the yin-yang symbol and infinity. And so that's a very spiritual shape and concept.
Wait a minute. Well, this is about play. The sun.
David and I sometimes have different concepts of what is fun. But anyway, he gets to be who he is. So, okay, so those are the associations with astrology, the 5th house, and the tarot, the Sun card. And I also wanted to say one more thing in terms of other systems. The chakra that would be associated with this is the 2nd chakra, also known as the sacral chakra. And it is in the area of the body that is the procreative area. So that's really interesting too, because it's creative, and that's where children come from. And so children are naturally creative and playful, and in a sense very sensual. You know, creating is a very sensual act, and so we may not normally think of children as being sensual, but actually they are very sensual. They're naturally in their bodies. They're naturally experiencing the earth and the world sensually. In fact, that's why children, infants always put things in their mouth. That's the way they're discovering the world. So, alrighty. Yeah, I was going to say also that just like children, creativity can be kind of messy. See, he's an example. We're being creative here. He's a mess. But yeah, they color outside the lines when they're learning how to color in a coloring book, and they
this is coloring outside the lines.
So David wanted to show you his little creative. This
is something I made 20 years ago or 30 years ago, and I was so eager to make it that it's kind of cool, but it's like lopsided and kind of lumpy and stuff. But I made it, and if I hadn't made that, I would have never gotten to the point where I could make this, which is much more professional. Or this. Oh, look at that. Oh, wait a minute, does it fit? Oh, it fits. Oh, it fell.
I want to say,
Anyhow, this is nice. Look, watch this. Whoops.
so I want to say something about Dave, because David, this is something that I have observed. Unfortunately, he
I'm
knows,
being childlike.
yeah, he knows this, so he's not going to get triggered by it. But David's one of those kind of people that others either just adore him or can't stand him. And I sometimes feel a little both, but mostly I think he's pretty awesome. But I want to say something about Dave, because he's actually a genius. You might not be able to tell with him in his goofy, playful side, but he's actually a genius. He studied the works of Buckminster Fuller and was going to go on to be a mathematician. I don't remember why he didn't, but anyway, he ended up going into computers and starting his own business, and was very successful for at least 20 years. And so I just want you to know that there is another side to him that you're not necessarily seeing here. All right, so.
Wait a minute. There you go. So that's, to me, that's a whole different shift in topic, because now you're talking about blocks instead of the child energy.
Well, the thing is I want something of substance, you know, because we can go on YouTube and we can see all kinds of people just rambling. I want something of value, something of substance, something people can sink their teeth into.
Right.
And I felt the same way on the first video. Like, there were 2 times when you wanted to stop, and I'm like, we haven't even gotten into the meat of this thing.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I feel the same way now.
Right.
Like, we haven't really said anything. I mean, I did talk a little bit about astrology and the tarot and the second chakra, but I mean, we haven't really said anything.
You're right.
So I wouldn't want to end the video now.
I'm not saying we should end it now. I just got confused because we're talking about blockages and the child shutting down, which is a different topic.
I don't think it's a different topic. I mean, if you think there's something to say, then I want to hear what you have to say.
Right.
You have lots of intelligent things to say.
Yes. It's true.
You know, and I'm not, I don't want to censor anything brilliant you have to say. Obviously I do want to censor a little bit the goofiness, but I don't want to censor anything intelligent you have to say. And if it's, I mean, as long as it's not too off the topic, like I don't want to, well, even, I mean, I don't really want to get political, but even that I could probably go with the flow if it felt like it was, you know, like you could see the thread of the line of your thinking, you know, from child artists to Trump. If you can actually show a connection, yeah, I would be okay with you being political, but pretty much, you know, anything you want to say, as long as there's some connection to, you know, so it's not completely off topic. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So I still wanted to stay with the child energy, though, rather than talk about blockage.
Okay. I can't go goofy, though, because it's not fun. So,
well, talking about the child energy and the child energy and going goofy are not necessarily synonymous.
okay. So why don't you share? I'll go back to record. Why don't you share what you see as the child energy?
Okay, are we live again?
No, I'll go live just a second. That one felt harder.
It was harder.
Why was it harder?
Because I triggered you by being playful, although it would have very soon turned very serious. It would have modeled how that playfulness turns into seriousness.
Yeah. It always triggers me. I just don't. There's a goofiness and a silliness about it that I just don't enjoy at all. Yeah, it's really shutting me down.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but anyway, it's another video.
It's another video, and I was that way on purpose because this is supposed to be about the child.
Yeah, I know, but you're like on a spectrum. I'm comfortable maybe right here, and you can go all the way over here.
Right.
I'm not comfortable at all.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. How about if we stop this so it can...
I thought I turned it off.
And you want to end the meeting. Well, now that we've explored the messiness of creativity, I would like to know, Yvonne, what it is that excites you about doing these videos. The little girl, the young, creative, wonder-filled, living in mystery child that gives you the energy and the enthusiasm to even do this. Just talk a little bit about how you got into doing the videos.
Mm-hmm. Well, it started a year ago when I was in Florida for 5 months, and I was in a situation where there wasn't a whole lot to do. I was quite secluded at that time. And I think on some level I was also meeting needs for solitude and seclusion. I didn't really want to go out and start meeting new people, especially because I knew I was only there for a few months and I wasn't working at the time. So it was very much of a introspective spiritual exploration. But at the same time, I started watching a lot of YouTube videos because it was one of my only forms of entertainment and connection. And I was so astounded by the amount of wisdom and knowledge and creativity that I saw in the general population. I mean, I could watch hours of YouTube videos, and admittedly, nowadays when I am working, and I'm back in Denver with, my friends and family, and I don't have as much time to watch the YouTube videos, but I still watch. I would say I get on YouTube probably every day and watch a little bit of the people that I enjoy following, and check out a new creator every once in a while and see what they have to offer. And what I enjoy, though, is the realness of it, the vulnerability. It's not polished, so I was thinking it's not like we all have to be Martin Scorsese or Julia Cameron. We don't necessarily have to create this final, perfect, glossy product. And certainly what they do is valuable. I love Julia Cameron's work and many of Martin Scorsese's books, films, but there's also a lot out there that average people are doing, and it is so rich. So that was part of it, was just the receiving. And then I had a longing to make that same kind of contribution. I wanted to see what it would feel like for me to share what I know in this format. And I think also one more thing I would add is that I've learned over the years that you teach what you need to learn. So I'm thinking maybe record also what you need to learn. And based on our messy blooper outtakes, which we didn't even know we were making, they were extremely illuminating.
So the child can be mesmerized just watching a bird fly, or watching ants carry sticks, and they look around and they see a world full of wonder, full of mystery, and they don't necessarily know why or how. They just are captivated by being present. And I think it's that lack of inhibition and looking at stuff with perpetually fresh eyes rather than through expectations. That is why the child is the core of our creative expression. So, and then anything that we create, we get that inspiration. It has to move through our body and generally through our hands to turn into manifestation so we could share it, because part of art is sharing, you know. So when you think about that childlike wonder and that looking around and seeing mystery everywhere and not necessarily knowing how things are going to go, how does doing these videos minister to that part of your being?
Well, I'm sure part of it is that it's new. I enjoy novelty. It stimulates me. I am not one of those kind of people who likes to do the same thing over and over and over again. I get bored when it's repetitive. It feels tedious and monotonous to me. So I like a lot of novelty. Although one of the things I learned when I was in Florida, when I didn't have a lot to do, was that it was okay to go outside and just watch the birds. There were so many birds, so many different kinds of birds. And, you know, I remember just watching a little finch hopping around on the ground looking for seeds and insects to eat, or just watching the ants on the patio. And I actually was learning that it was okay not to do anything, just to be in that experience. And so I'm not altogether sure how they connect. I know that they do, but one was about just being, and the other, so there's being and playing and creating and doing and taking action. And certainly making the videos requires taking action. It's not passive at all, but there is something also very playful and childlike and creative about it. And I suppose that's what comes alive for me the most, is just the novelty. It excites me. I feel curious. I want to go down this path like Hansel and Gretel, even though they went down the path because they had to. But maybe we all have to, you know.
Cool. I think I'm complete.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, we, you know, like the quote.
Ring the bell, share the channel.
Oh, yeah. Well, just 1 second. But there was one more thing I wanted to share. What happened was that we started recording and we experienced a little bit of disconnection, and I intended to pause the recording so we could have a discussion. So
that I could be told what to do.
And that's not quite the way I would describe it. I have my own perspective. But anyway, we ended up recording the outtakes, the bloopers. So, and instead of recording what we thought we were recording. So there was another little piece that got missed, which was a quote by Julia Cameron, which I wanted to share. She says, "Progress, not perfection, is what we should be asking of ourselves." And that's exactly what David and I were doing tonight. We were just in the process, and that was good enough. So we decided to go ahead and share that with you. And so that's it for the artist child. And yes, I need to do my mini promotion, which is to please subscribe, click like, and click on the bell so you'll get notifications. Feel free to add comments. We'd love to hear what you have to say. and also click on the link to my blog that works with this. It's a companion blog. So I hope we will see you for day 3, when we will discuss core limiting beliefs.
Sure.
Oh boy, that's going to be fun. Cheerio.
Bye.